for this intervention. At least you were able to give us live pictures. Perhaps you want to add a word before we let you go.
Yeah, exactly. So I can tell you the security has been deployed there to ensure safety and maintain order in that particular axis. So I believe that place is calm. Now you can see motorists are moving on this road. Commercial motorcycles are moving freely. I believe the situation is calm now.
All right, thank you very much, Usman Aliyu, for your update. Hopefully we'll see you in a few short moments as well. Let's go quickly to the coal city of Enugu. Shortly, where our correspondent is also there to give us an update. Let's first of all, we were thinking that protesters will be at the Michael Opera Square. If I'm right, did they congregate there, or did they take off from other spots in Enugu? And especially also we would like to find out what the ambience is like. Earlier in the day we understand that they were not started gathering, but what is happening at this time?
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. The city of Enugu is calm. We chose Opera Square as our point of contact because this is supposed to be where all the protesters are to be gathered. But the place is empty. There's no protest in Enugu. We cannot see any protest in Enugu here. That's why we are standing here. And then we have other places we have gone to this afternoon. We went to the Obetan. It's life. People are doing businesses, commercial activities are going on. And buses, transport companies are busy scouting for passengers, and passengers are there lined up for movement to other cities and states today in Enugu. We also went to Opera Avenue, the Bank Avenue. All the banks are shut down. Commercial activities are shut down in malls and commercial centers, places like ShopRite. There are places where you are expecting people to be, and they are, but places where you don't expect them, they are clustered there. Though there are trickles of movement of commercial buses and tricycles moving all around the city, picking passengers, and people are just going about their normal businesses, And security-wise, there's security beefed up everywhere. In strategic positions, they are there. The state district response squad, DRS, is situated everywhere, And there are places where we went to also. We saw armored tank, stationed in the middle of Bokiti Junction, where you have a cluster of rural dwellers. But in the city, in the metropolitan city, like the Bisala Road, leading to the government house and inside Independence Layout, is serene and calm. Vehicles are moving normally. In fact, Enugu is just normal.
All right. Thank you very much for that update from Enugu. That's you have been able to give us. In fact, we've seen it in your background, and we can see that you are just getting ready. Just to fight this report. But we may come back to you in, the course of telecast, perhaps in any of the news belts, to see if the situation remains so, since it's not just a day's activity. So let's, on that note, go on a short break. When we return, we'll be taking the thoughts of our in the studio and some on Zoom on the first day of this protest, and what they expect both from the government, from civil society organizations, from the law enforcement agencies, and most importantly, from the citizens.
The real Nigerian.
All right, the promo says I'm the real Nigerian. We are looking for the real protester now because of the issues on ground. I'm still joined by Muyiwa Adejobi, first PRO, Amasajo, here in the studio with me. Hamza Aliyu via Zoom, Director Initiative for Grassroots Advancement, INGRA. And of course, Dr. George Agbokai, who joined us last, public affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us at this time. August 1, it was advertised by the protesters that this would happen in terms of voicing out some of their grievances and their thoughts on the direction of state. That has come to pass, and also some of the warnings in terms of those who could also cash in on this activity, as some also seem to be seeing the light of day as well. Ahmed Sajo is right here. You, in the course of the week, spoke about some of these things as well. I saw you at an engagement earlier also on electoral issues and all that, and you voiced these issues as well. What are we seeing at the moment in terms of the coloration of this protest?
I think what we are seeing, if you make an attempt at intellectual analysis of what we're seeing, first and foremost, there are two protests going on. There is the original protest that was advertised by people who wanted a protest against the situation that the country is going through now. And then there is a protest by people who were not part of this original, who I told you in the morning had monitored the situation to see whether, you know, it could gather momentum for them to join, and they have cashed in, and they are the ones now that are blocking roads, burning tires, looting shops, and attacking people. Those ones are totally different. And then another thing I have seen from this, the pictures that I have seen here, that the youth demography is divided into two. The southern young youth demography is mostly made up of educated young people who are unemployed, whose major concern is that, look, they are unemployed, so even their dependence on their parents, who are all in themselves also suffering the hardships, is beginning to cause a lot of strain on their lives, and so they have come out because of that. But the northern youth demography is totally different. It's mostly made up of out-of-school children, street children, who do not even have family values because they're growing up with their families. And if you notice, just look at the pictures from Kano, from Katsina, from Yobe, from Borno. Look at it from Suleja. If you look at the youth demography there, you see they are not even teenagers. Some of them are toddlers, you know, coming out to say, and these ones are more difficult to manage because they do not even have family values. And so we at the end of this protest, one of the activities that we have to do is to begin to address this demography and begin to address our society, particularly in northern Nigeria, where I am a northerner, a very proud northerner, but I know that this is, you know, creating more serious challenges for us as a country. That children could just grow up in the streets without family love, without family care, without anybody telling them, you know, passing on family values, norms, and societal values and norms to them, apart from the harsh conditions of the street. That is a very dangerous proposition, and that is the reservoir from where insurgents recruit their members, from where bandits and kidnappers recruit their people. And we could see that they are the ones that have now come out and have started breaking shops. You heard that in Suleja, that they have burnt down a business center, and they have even threatened to go to houses of people to go and loot and things like that. And I think we need to begin to address this protest in two. Those that are original protesters that have pledged to be civil in their approach should be treated as a civil group and with all the niceties that we have seen the security agencies do. But those that are breaking shops and are blocking roads and extorting people, I think should be treated as the criminals that they are. They are not protesters, they are criminals.
Hamza Aliyu, Executive Director, Initiative for Grassroots Advancement. If you're there, perhaps you want to give us a perspective on some of these issues and longer-term arrangement, perhaps to capture some of these segments of society in terms of communication and perhaps reorientation to get us, at least society, on an even keel.
Yes, thank you. And I'm happy that your guest spoke about the two different groups of persons, or at least three different groups of persons who are involved in this debacle that we're finding out. He's absolutely correct. Government has for a long time neglected a particular section of our community. It's not that this third section who are the ones who did not plan this protest and who are the ones who are looting and destroying and causing commotion in this protest. It's not that they just joined the protest. No, they have always been there. They have always lingered around. We always see them when we pass around. We see them hanging around under trees, walking around without going to school and not having anything to do during the day. And we throw an eye, we make as if they don't exist. Now, anytime there's a problem, we know they exist because they are there to cause the problem for us. We've been talking about the high rate of out-of-school children in the north, and we still have not done anything strategic and anything meaningful to address this issue. It is going to continuously come back to bite us, and it will bite us sometimes in ways that we cannot recover from. We need, as a government, to do something about this urgently. It is not just this protest, and I'm happy that this protest is being happening. I'm happy that the first one happened because it brings us back to that discussion table, that conversation table, that we have deep-seated structural problems. These children are ones that we have neglected, and they're not coming back to tell us that, yes, we exist. You can't throw us away. You can't wish us away. You cannot pray us away. We are going to be there. Anytime you give us the space, we're going to take the space and we're going to cause problem for you. So I think, consequently, we need to begin to have a conversation around what do we do about these structural issues. This number of children and young people who do not have any means of livelihood, who don't have caregivers, who do not have any survival instinct instilled in them. What do we do with them? It's something that most countries worry about, but we seem to wish it away. We seem to laugh about it. We seem to build fences and put security men and dig our borehole and pray that these things don't come. They are going to come to bite us any day. I am not a prophet of doom. I'm telling you, a time will come when there will be more of these children outside than there are the ones that are inside. So as a government, as a people, we must begin to strategically look at these issues and do something about it. Again, I'm also calling that no matter how much frustrated a young person should be, we should always find a way to give them hope. Government must give them hope. We're not seeing the hope, and it's something that is beginning to bother us. This government is
All right, thank you so much. We lost you a little bit. Amza Aliyu, Executive Director, Initiative for Grassroots Advancement. You talked about survival instinct. Everybody has it. It's only exhibited in a different way. In fact, you could even argue that some of the things being done now is a survival instinct for some of them. They have identified where shops where Indomie is available, and they are trying to, get access to them without buying. Anyway, moving away from that very quickly, Dr. George Abwekai, public affairs analyst, you've seen some of those things that have happened, and in some states it's been quite cordial, the engagement is there. But what do you want to see in this before eventually we come to the end of this process?
Okay, to me, one thing about protest, the group in a protest is not monolithic. And the leadership of the group also, they have a problem. They are the people that have assembled these young men, youth, to protest. But you find out that at some point, they cannot control them, as my colleague earlier alluded. Now you have two groups. One are the original protesters, and the other are, the hoodlums, whose main objective is to perpetrate violence and cause chaos in the society. So that's the problem. When you are organizing a protest, you have to also make sure that you will be able to control, the people that are protesting alongside you. Just like what is happening in Kano State. You see a bunch of youths with no leadership patrolling around, causing mayhem. The same thing is applicable to Suleja. There are a bunch of youth, leaderless, going to shop, carrying stuff, and threatening to go to individual homes. That is what the problem has always been in protests. when people, especially the government, were talking about this issue of protest and advising young men and women not to protest, these are part of the reason. When you protest, sometimes it gets out of hand and could lead to, death, just like what happened in the NSAS. So in my own view, I would believe that the protesters, the leadership of the protest, they may have to reconsider their stand and maybe cut short the number of days they are going to protest. Now they have made their views widely known to the leadership of the country and to the Nigerian people. I think the leadership, the country leadership, the president and the cabinet, they've had them. So doing this protest for 9 more days, I don't think it will be a step in the right direction. Like when you talked about Southeast, how there was calm and tranquility in Enugu. I remember vividly, the leader of the Ohaneze Ndigbo that just passed on.
Chief Wanyawu.
Yes, his blessed memory, Chief Emmanuel Wanyawu. I remember before he passed on, barely 2 weeks ago, he cautioned the Igbo youths not to participate in this protest. He cautioned them. So I believe part of the reason why you see calm in the east, southeast, is probably because of that. They are listening to the reason, of their late leader and also of the governors. The governors constantly have talked about, people not participating in this, because sometimes in the east it gets so bad. You see what I mean? But prior to today, what I can call the pre-protest, there were a little bit of violence in some parts of the east, especially in Imo State, where policemen were killed around Owerri, and I even heard that one young girl doing POS was also shot. That's very, very sad, and I don't know. The most important thing for us is for the leadership of this protest to really reconsider their stand and look for a way, to cut it short for the interest of the country.
All right, first PRO Muyiwa, thank you so much for your time. In terms of the areas where you have noticed some, concerns, what has been the response of your men? Are they on top of it now in areas where there have been flashpoints, especially in the Kano, Suleja, and some of the areas you have raised? What are the feelings you are hearing from your men? Is the situation and the areas now are they now calm?
Yes, so far so good. We are in charge. Commissioners of police in these areas are taking charge. Our main officers are on top of the situation. We have been restoring peace back to some of those crisis affected areas. We are clearing barricade barriers and bonfire, putting off the fire and all the like. That's the stage we had in some areas, particularly some part of the federal capital territory. In Suleja, they have arrested some. I think in Suleja, they recovered a gun. So far, so I think 1 AK-47 rifle from the crowd and some locally made bombs. I think they have issues there when they want to go and touch the local government area, one of the local government areas in that place. There's another places, generally in the south, we have not been having it bad. In some states in the north, that's where we're having some of these other incidences recorded. They are on top of the situation, part of the normalcy, where it's necessary for us to apply minimum force to do so, because we don't want to lose any individual, not even a single soul. So we are mindful of all this, and we are trying our best to make sure we contain this trend, because this trend cannot continue this way. We need to contain it.
PRO, sir, if you notice, you've noticed that there have been gathering, and especially the pictures we've seen from the north, they're not in some confined spaces like fields and all that. We're seeing them marching on the streets. What will be the effort in this? Are you trying to make sure that they go back to the designated areas, or what is the strategy?
For those who are cleared and their protests, to plan their protests, they are on the same page with us. You can see in those states. But other places where they actually went out for reasons known to them, whether they have been sponsored to run down the state, to run down the system, we don't know for them. There are those who don't even want to yield to any advice from us. They just want to be in the street. They want to go out to go and loot, to go and cause pain, to go and infringe on people's rights, to restrict people from moving. These are the things those ones are doing in all those places we can see. Of course, they don't want to operate with us because they are out for their ulterior motives, and we know how to handle people like that. But for other places where they have been so calm, where they have been so mature, where they are so clear-headed, you can see that they manage the movement. Even if there's a procession, they manage it. But we still want to tell those who are violent to please let them withdraw from the team. Let them go to any designated place for them to go and have the assembly if at all they still want to have. When I know some states, the protest is over. I can confirm in Osun State, the protest is over, there's no problem. And some other thing like that, the protest is over, there's no problem. But for those who are enjoying looting, vandalizing, attacking people, they are still in the streets. So I've been advising organizers who are prominent in these various states to talk to their people, like to go and make announcements so that they can draw and save fire. We, like they said, the former commissioner said, I can identify two groups. Those who had made their intention known to have this protest, and those they are out to come and loot, to cause sorrow, to cause pains to us. So I'm advising the genuine protesters to withdraw for now. I think it's better to sit fire and withdraw for now so that they will not mingle with those who are the forces who are dealing with. Those who are out to run down the state, to run down Nigeria, to destroy our democracy. Let us know them so that we know how to handle them proportionally. So I think I need to advise the genuine protesters who have shown interest, who plan their protests, that has been adjusted now. So withdraw, to cease fire, so that we will know those we are dealing with, and then we know how to handle them. That's the piece of advice I have for them.
So talking about the, actualities and what we have seen, in some cases, some have gone towards some government houses, but those protesters that you have seen, have they given your men or the senior police officers any list of demands, at least to put some context into some of these protests?
List of demands? No. Those are even those are actually planned. I think the normal thing is to gather somewhere, and you have your letter of demand, you address your followers, and you present your letter or your request or your demand to any prominent person there to go and give to the governor, or you give to the governor to give to the president, or to give to the national assembly. I have not seen any. That's why we raised the alarm that this protest, the way they have the protest, is worrisome, and with the intelligence have gathered, which is now that we literally gathered this intelligence, and they need to give kudos to us because we saw this storm that they are going to hijack, and people are coming out to prevent trouble to run down the system. And this is what we can easily see now. It's obvious. And these people have come out to exercise what they have been nurturing and run down the system. So we have not seen anybody. I know CP has received any letter of demand, but even those places where CPs, commissioners have addressed them, they have brought any letter of demand. I am not aware of that, to the best of my knowledge.
All right, I think it's a good note to take, a message from the Nigerian police force concerning this, the activities we've seen nationwide, Nigerians interacting with the leadership and letting them know what their concerns are in terms of the direction of state. We'll take that break and then we'll come for the home run. All right, thank you very much for that piece of information from the IGP, and you mentioned some very topical issues and perhaps as a prophet, some of those things we are seeing the actualities. But for a first timer in Nigeria, this is not the normal ambience. If you are just landing in Nigeria, it's much more festive situation you will see. Let's see pictures from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport earlier in the day. Perhaps we'll have a conversation after that. As the shots from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, things looking quite orderly, but not too much in terms of traffic. At least we can see order at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport for shots taken earlier in the day. For a first time, I would think that we are not so many in Nigeria, perhaps because not too many people, businesses around that area came out earlier in the day. But let's join our correspondent who has been there monitoring and welcoming guests to Nigeria. Aliu Kabir, tell us what is happening at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, a gateway into the country by air. All right, your connection is not too good. Perhaps some flights are just landing overhead, distorting some of that, the communication there. But if you can, you try to, join us again, Aliu Kabir from the airport. But we enjoyed your pictures. Very shortly, we'll be taking final comments. But let me start from the police PRO. What is the outlook for the coming days? What is your word to Nigerians, protesters, law enforcement agents, and all the people you have been engaging in the course of these activities? Very quickly, so that we'll let you go. Your final thoughts on the program.
Like I said earlier on, that with what you have experienced today, I don't think there is any need for us to continue this protest, because if 2 hours into the protest that should last for 10 days, if you have experienced all this, I don't think it's reasonable for any group to continue with this protest. Our voices have been heard. The government is aware. Everybody is aware that our youths, our people, Nigerians came out to protest, and the government has taken note of all their demands. I'm sure with this, I think the next thing is just to compile whatever information they have for the president or the federal government and forward same to appropriate places. For those who want to say, write anything, we want to urge them to please articulate their points, their demands, and everything and forward. We cannot get all these things done in the streets. It's not possible. We just continue to add pains and sorrows what we have on ground. And today, those who have lost their property, those who have lost their shops, their outlets, they know accounting their losses just because what they had in a day. Just imagine what will happen if you go straight to 10th day of days of grief giving to this protest. I'm sure most of the leaders, those who are involved and those that are still agitating and those that are mobilizing Nigerians to come and join them, we actually need to talk to them so that we don't experience things like this. You can see this is Jobe. You can see Jobe, the PRO called me earlier on and gave me this report. Even now, in Atikaru area in Abuja, some boys are still there. And you see all these ones, they don't even know what is about. These are just like, quote and unquote, like Palam say zombies. They are just there and they are carrying stones and sticks. Ask them, what is the problem? Okay, I don't know. They say, okay, I carry stone. And they are targeting all vehicles, all exotic vehicles, SUVs. They believe anybody using SUV is for the government. You can see how they have been watched them and how colored their knowledge would be concerning this protest. So for the sake of our country, for the sake of ourselves and on behalf of us, we're actually fighting for. Let us cease fire, particularly the JD protesters. Let us cease fire. Let us know that we have been praying for this. By tomorrow, if people come out, we know those we are dealing with. So we not allow this because people came to us and they actually told us that they want us to work together. That's why we have allowed this freedom to this extent. Because Section 40 being quoted by those who are organizing this, they should not forget that we can work on Section 45 of the Constitution as well to justify our actions. So actions and reactions are equal and opposite, like I said. But whatever the situation we have now at hand, we are going to engage and attempt to solve the situation professionally, tactically, and diplomatically.
All right, thank you very much for PRO Muyiwa Adejobi. Aliyu Kabir is still calling me on phone. Aliyu, is there anything particularly you want to say very quickly?
Yes, Fisayo, as you rightly said, since morning activities at the airport here are going smoothly. There is no any problem as regards to protesting. Protesters did not reach the airport as I'm talking to you now. One especially this afternoon, the airport is totally busy with passengers trooping in and out of the airport, including even the international. There is no any. The atmosphere here is very, very calm as people are just going about their normal businesses.
Thank you very much, Aliyu Kabir, for that report. Let's quickly go to Amza. You've been here all day with us, Executive Director, Initiative for Grassroots Advancement. What do we need for advancement very quickly?
I think I agree with the first public relations officer. We need to shut this thing down now, immediately, because if we allow this to fester into the night, into tomorrow, we don't know where it's going to lead. So I think those who started this protest will now realize why everybody said, please do not do this, because our environment is not yet ripe for this. So I'm hoping that the authorities will shut down these activities fast. Let's begin to counter our losses, because within the hours we have already lost a lot of property and damages has been. Please, we need to shut it down.
All right, very quickly, Ahmed Sajo.
Well, I think I told the same line that we have definitely made our points. That we should now the leadership of the protesters, if there is actually a leadership, should begin to prepare themselves for a dialogue. Even in war, where there is life losses and there is shooting by soldiers, the end of it is always a round table on dialogue. So they should prepare for dialogue. And then secondly, perhaps on a lighter note, I may ask the first PRO to assure me that I'll be able to go back to Kubwa, because coming here was a killian for me. I hope the road will be clear for me to go back. Thank you very much for having me.
First PRO can I guess go back home now. It stays around the Kubwa axis. Very quickly, yes or no? All right, let's go back quickly to...
And sorry, let me just end with this statement. I started by telling you that there are two possible scenarios.
In 1 minute, very quickly.
In 30 seconds. One is either that the thing ends today, or that it escalates, and beyond today, some people will just become emboldened and take over the day. I think we should allow it to escalate, please.
First PRO, I was asking you, can my guest now, be guaranteed movement back to his, area? He's an elderly man and he drives very slow.
Well, for now, I don't think there's any problem again. We have pockets of incidences and barricades now, fire officers led by the CP in charge of SIS, Special Intervention Squad. The team is moving around to clear out all those places so that I can have free flow of movement. I don't envisage any problem. So my organ, you can have this. I don't think there's any problem.
Very quickly, Dr. George Agbakai, final words.
Yes. Today is the first day of the protest, and it has become apparently clear that the protesters cannot be controlled. It is now evident that there are two groups of people protesting: the original protesters and hoodlums who are only interested in looting. So at this point, I believe it is incumbent for all Nigerians, irrespective of your ethnic, religious, or political inclination. Let's try and reach out to one another. Let's search our conscience and rededicate ourselves, to democratic ideas of peace, sacrifice, tolerance, the rule of law. Let's look for a way, come together and suspend this protest for the interest of this great country.
Dr. George, thank you very much for coming. And of course, Ahmad Shajo, former Commissioner of Information, Adamawa State, and elder statesman committed to Nigerian cause. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, thank you.
And a very good driver as well. Thank you for coming. And of course, Hamza Ali, Executive Director, Initiative for Grassroots Advancement, all the way from Kogi, of course, you joined us via Zoom. Thank you for answering our call as well.
Thank you very much for having me.
And first PRO, your men have proven that police is your friend today on duty. We hope that will be the same tomorrow. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much, First PRO. And that is the program for today. On the top of the hour, we have news nationwide. From the police perspective, they said the emphasis is on protect, not protest. Government says process, not protest. But at this time, we're saying, well, all Nigerians a Nigerian project. So it's a project, not just a protest. That is our view on the Nigerian Television Authority. This, eye on what is happening will continue in the course of our bulletins after now. It has been Fisher Gunfu handling this session. I'll be handing you over later on very shortly to our nationwide news, where we'll still give you updates, news, reviews, previews, and interviews surrounding these activities. Keep it locked on the Nigerian Television Authority for this service, and we want to urge you to play your politics and be a Nigerian for the greater good. Bye-bye now.